on our mittens, button up our coats, wrap our scarves snugly around our throats, pull on our boots, fasten the straps, and tie on tightly our warm winter caps. Let's put on our mittens, button up our coats, wrap our scarves snugly around our throats, pull on the boots, fasten the straps, and tie on tightly our warm winter caps. Then open the door and out we go into the softly falling snow. Well, there is not much that is quite so much fun, hello, as playing in the snow when you are little. It's Miss Susan, and I wanted to share a few ideas and verses and a trick that might help you to help your little one learn to get themselves ready. So that verse that I just demonstrated for you, I used to do that in my circles. And even though it's not really like putting on your things, gives your child the idea of the process that you go through. And there's another verse too that I wanted to share with you that I have found very helpful for helping children to put on their mittens. And that goes like this. Thumb in the thumb place, fingers all together. This is the song we sing in mitten weather. When it's cold, it doesn't matter whether mittens are wool or made of finest leather. Thumbs in the thumb place, fingers all together. So that can really help your child to know how to hold their hand right. You can do it first just as a rhyme, and then you can do it while you're putting on the mittens. I've even used it for helping children learn to put on gloves, and then because you still have to put your fingers together, and then tell them to spread their fingers after they get their fingers inside. So I also wanted to show you the coat flip. I learned this when my daughter Rachel was at the Montessori school. I don't remember if she was 2 or 3 years old, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So you lay your coat down and you stand by the collar, right, stand with it right in front of you. Then you bend over, put your hands in the sleeves, just part way, just a little ways. Then you pick it up and flip it over your head and slide your arms the rest of the way in. I just think it's really amazing. The best way to teach your child to do this is just to do it side by side with them the first few times. Once they get the hang of it, they're going to do it. When you're doing it yourself, I learned this lesson the hard way. Make sure your keys in your phone and whatever else are not in your pockets, because you'll either bop yourself in the head or they'll go flying out. But mittens and things are okay. So hands in, up and over and in. And it's so easy. Really, kids as young as 2 can do it. All right. I moved my chair closer so I could sit down, because before I finish this up, I wanted to share with you a couple more ideas of how to help your child to learn to dress themselves. First of all, I want to say that choosing the right clothes makes a big difference. Those boots with the linings in them, oh my gosh, I've had such a hard time even when I'm helping a child to put them on. Sometimes we can't get them on at all. The linings tend to go inside and get stuck down in there. It can be really frustrating. So clothes that are easy to put on and warm, not always easy to find, but that will make such a huge difference in your child's comfort. Even if you have to help them, it will make a huge difference. Um, so that's a really big thing. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that when you're putting your child's clothes on, their winter clothes or any clothes, if you're still helping them to get dressed for the day, do it in the same order every time. I used to have to get up to 20 kids ready to go outside, and there were usually a few who could dress themselves, but most of them couldn't, especially at the beginning. So we would always put everything on in the same order. Uh, Often, if I had room, it depends on what classroom I was in, I would lay things out for them in order. So we would always do snow pants, jacket, boots, hat, scarf if they had it, and then gloves or mittens would go on last. So if you always do that, and I'll write in the description, I'll write the order that I use, but um, that tends to work pretty well. If you put your gloves or mittens on before you have everything else on, you can't use your hands to to put the other things on, or it can be or else it's a lot harder at the very least. So if you line everything up in order, snow pants, or if you have a one piece outside, like a ski suit or something like that, that of course goes first. Snow pants, coat, boots, scarf, hat, gloves, or mittens. That's the order that I found. And even within that order, if you always do like the same foot first, I think when I was doing my little verse at the beginning, I did my left foot first, but usually I would just start with the right foot because when I was helping the children. So we'd always put on and the right leg of the snow pants, and then the left, and then the flip if you're doing it. Otherwise, the same thing, the right arm, then the left, the right boot, and the left. You get the idea. That doing it in the same order really helps the children to understand, and it's surprising how confusing it can be, or maybe it's not, to get all those different things on to go out into the cold. So, I would start out, if the children didn't know how to dress themselves, I would start out doing it for them, and then I would gradually kind of have them kind of coach them through it. Some of them just caught on really fast and they didn't need it after they did it a few times and kind of got the sense of the order. They could just do it. Other ones, I would, kind of coach them through it, have them put in one leg and then hand it over to them and have them do the second leg. Sorry. As an early childhood teacher, I move when I talk. So those are my hints. And then the other thing I would say is that every child comes to these things they have the ability to do it at different times. So if your child needs more help, that's really fine. And sometimes even children who know how to do everything themselves at the end of a long day, it's just too much. So in my opinion, it's even if they do know how to do it, sometimes if they just seem like they need your help, if they need a little extra love and affection, it's fine to do it for them too. So, but ultimately, we of course want them to learn to do things for themselves, and they love to be able to do things just like the older kids do, or like their moms and dads do. So let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any great ideas of how you help your children learn to get themselves ready. And that's all for today. Thanks so much for stopping by. I will see you again soon.